I'm Rob Licuria, Senior Editor at Gold Derby, here with Tom Campbell, showrunner on RuPaul's Drag Race. First of all, I don't think this ever gets old, but congratulations once again on Emmy nominations across the board for the show, including for Untucked. Well done.
Thank you very much. I still remember, it's always humbling because every show has its moment. I'm glad we're still in the conversation. And I still remember for 8 seasons when we were on Logo, any year the show could have been canceled for a million reasons. So, it's just, I feel like Drag Race is the tree that grew out of the crack in the sidewalk. It's really this miracle thing that keeps giving.
Yeah, and it's won the last 4 years running for competition program. Mama Ru has won 6 in a row for reality host. Untucked finally won last year as well for unstructured reality, which is so cool. I must say, we're in a relatively perilous time in our deeply divided cultural landscape right now, where the LGBTQ community, particularly drag queens, for various opportunistic and political purposes, are being attacked. Just I find really bizarre. What are your thoughts on how vital this show is at the moment, and how embraced it is by the Academy and by audiences worldwide?
Well, there's a couple of things. First, I'll quote RuPaul, who says, "I make a political statement every time I bat my false eyelashes," which is true. And this kind of, I've worked in television for 30 years, and, I would venture to say that Drag Race is one of the queerest shows that's ever been created, with more queer representation across the board. And there is a trend, there's a pushback always when the pendulum swings one way to swing the other. And I always feel like, even with the best intended liberal minds in television, they're like, a little gay goes a long way, or we already have one of those, So it's like, and there was a moment where it's like, well, how much Drag Race do you need? It's like, and then the political, you just realize we're never really safe. And it is a radical political statement. Men, taking, gender in performance and messing with it. And it's again, all we do is have fun and laugh and spread love. But underneath it all, there is a real strong political statement. And I'm just glad, people keep coming back.
Yeah, I had no idea that a drag queen would be so offensive, but here we are. And hopefully that will eventually go away and they'll find something else to be outraged about. I spoke to John Sarge Snyder the other day, the camera operator extraordinaire from the show, and he likened the contestants, the queens on the show, to superheroes. And I really love the way he says that, because it never really occurred to me, but they really are, because you know why? When I walk up the stairs, I do my back out. These women, men, and the way that they are able to just run around that stage is incredible. Do you often, as the producer, showrunner, get caught up in the drama and spectacle, and particularly the emotional weight of the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent on the screen?
It never gets old. The drama happens, and it happens, but we're paying attention a lot to the performance and the breakthroughs in the main stage. And I think what we've been successful at, if there's one thing we're proud of, is over the years we've created this safe place where queens come and they know they can talk about whatever's going on with them. And the pressure, I think Drag Race, again, so different producing it versus being in it. I have no experience in being in it, but it's like, it's the most experience, most creative experience I think you can have. You're in this, like, your phone's taken away, you're with fellow performers. You were asked every day to come up with some new notion, to write something, to dance something, to sing something. And so they are going to reach a breakthrough, but it's so beautiful to watch. And again, RuPaul says it so well, but it's the show, it's high heels and glitter and shade and all that, but it's really about the tenacity of the human spirit and these people that are willing to come tell their stories and let themselves be documented, competing under really sort of high stakes, high pressure. It's intoxicating to watch. I love it. And I gotta tell you, every time there's a lip sync for your life, everybody like whips off their headsets, everyone runs to the set, everyone, we take it all very seriously, and we are as invested as the viewers are, if not even a little bit more.
Yeah, you know what? Back in the day when I didn't know much about the show, and I'd see that there'd be lip syncs. I'm thinking, oh, that just seems so frivolous. And yeah, I don't know if that's a show for me. And then I got into it for other reasons. And those lip syncs, they're hardcore. The stakes are high, man. And I had no idea. Like, I'm not surprised that you're ripping off your headsets to watch, because one of those are going to have to sashay away. And that's devastating. Devastating.
And the art of the lip sync was underestimated for a long time. To embody a song, like I was a little kid listening to my records. I couldn't afford very many, so I learned to lip sync my songs, and then I'd take the 45s, I'd turn to 78, and then I learned to lip sync them fast. I mean, I think we've always tried to like embody our superstars, and that's what the Queens do times 10. And plus, let's face it, most of it used to be like a real sin to lip sync to your performance. And now we kind of expect it from our stars. So, drag queens once again ahead of their time.
I wonder if the surviving members of Milli Vanilli are just like looking now thinking, really? We've missed the boat, man. Anyway, Untucked is a real change of pace. We get to peer behind the curtain and get some insight into these people. And because they're, these human beings that have struggled and have their own stories. A great example is Jasmine Kennedy when she comes out as a trans woman, surrounded by these really supportive queens who were there for her. And she talks about Kerry Colby and how she was an inspiration. And when you set aside the competition and the show strikes gold like that, what goes through your mind?
Again, just proud that we have a safe space where people, they know their camera's there and they know they're surrounded by sisters that will listen to them, that have been through what they've been through. I give Randy Barbado, one of the executive producers, full credit for Untucked. Season 1, we didn't have an Untucked, but we had the kiss and cry room like every other, reality show. And we would be like, dealing with the deliberations and the judges. And Randy, we had tiny monitors in this little thing. And he goes, he's pointing at the kiss and cry room. This is a show. And it was sort of drag queens in their habitat, sort of kickback, doing all that. And I don't go and watch it in bars because of COVID right now. But when I would go and watch at I think at the Spike, not the Spike, that's the Eagle in Silver Lake, which is like this leather bar, and they have like this dirty sheet and they project the show. But in Untucked, in those moments when like Alyssa Edwards' dad comes on, who he's estranged with, and says, I love you, son. We would hear the whole room would just change, because that's what we all are looking for in life. That's what we, the emotions are so real. And again, from the outside, it's like, oh, it's all this artifice and it's men in wigs and la la la. It's so much more. It's not just men in wigs. It's drag performers, however they express themselves in everyday life.
Yeah, it's about acceptance, love. It's about being your authentic self and finding it's all that stuff. And I don't know many other
stupid laughter and dumb jokes, and that's really what makes it. I mean, and it's multi-generational, because the queens are of today and from the street. They bring everything. They bring every season, which is what makes them irresistible and all the kind of things. But you have Rue and me, and we grew up watching the Carol Burnett show and the Cher show, and so we're and old gay culture and Judy Garland and the Supremes and whatever else we mix in, and it's this incredible meeting of the minds. And it is a place, not like a deep college course, but it is a place for a lot of gay culture and LGBTQ culture is being handed to the next generation. They can do whatever they want with it. Beyonce will sample it. We'll deliver it on Drag Race.
Yeah, exactly. What is the thing you most value about working with RuPaul? Because I mean, she's just a legendary person in entertainment industry. What's the best thing about working with RuPaul?
He has so much integrity in what he says and does. He won't say things. You can't put words in his mouth. He has a strong point of view, and this whole show really is based on the boundaries, the pioneering that he did. There was people before him, there's people since him, but he really took it the furthest. And that at that point in his career, when he had sort of stepped away from drag, and the reason he came back was to create a platform to promote others. And I think that's just beautiful. And he is a guru, and there is a spirituality to our show. And I say this with love, because I feel like I try to have a spiritual program in my life, very hard, but it's like, I don't think you're spiritual because you have it all together. I think you're spiritual because you're constantly seeking, and you're constantly, good, devil, angel on your shoulder. And that's something that he admits to, we admit to, and we're trying to listen to our angels. But it is, it's a daily decision, and it's again, I think that's a lot of what comes through on Drag Race. That's what I love about Rue. I love his soul.
And final question, it's hard, it's a Sophie's choice, but what is your highlight from season 14? I've got lots of them, but what's yours?
I will go to production stuff because I'm selfish, because I work on that. But it's like and I'm going to say 3 because I'm a pig and I can't answer your question.
Greedy.
Is Moulin Rouge, the musical.
Yeah.
Leland wrote the music for that. We have a lot of really important people. That was, the way that Moulin Rouge takes pop songs and mashes them into an incredible performance. Leland was able to do that with RuPaul's songs, which are fantastic, and the production value, and having Leslie Jordan as a guest star, all that was amazing. I like Ru, I am a Supremes freak. I love girl groups in the 60s. So the 60s girl group challenge was a joy, and we wrote those songs with David Steinberg. They sound, the Shangri-Las and the Rupremes and things of that, and the Runettes. And I also liked, and I saved the tackiest for last, was the Daytona Wind.
Oh my God.
Which was Ru's idea. And this is how he's spiritual. But the idea, they did a soap opera of it was sort of based on the old Carbonet As the Stomach Turns, which, if you're old enough, you remember that. But a soap opera about rival drag race dynasty women. But what we did in between the time they acted it and the time it aired on the main stage is we added fart sound effects after every line. And I know John Hoffman, who's listening, is going to put that into Only.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
I think, they did a silent episode in Only Murders. Maybe the next season they can do a farting one. I think that would be amazing.
Or it's a great way just to repurpose, I think, your episodes, just like the all fart version. I think there's a whole industry to be made.
Let's talk about that later. We might have to have a chat. Tom, thank you for your time today. We're going to bring you back shortly for our group chat.
My pleasure. Thank you.